Shraddha Nigam, try and explain what the problem is. If there is space already that exists and everyone accepts, this for people belonging to a different sexual orientation, then why not allow them to live together in a marriage? Why can't they be in union? I'm looking at the countries. It's not just countries like Australia, Switzerland, Ireland, Germany, Canada, which have legislated same-sex marriages. Even countries like Argentina, small countries like Andorra, South Africa, Costa Rica, Taiwan, Ecuador, Chile, Costa Rica, these are countries that have allowed same-sex marriages. Why then should you have a problem?
Well, Rahul, in fact, the laws are country-specific. There are no generalizations, as somebody is trying to put it. The laws have to be country-specific. And in India, is our country ready? And let me elaborate on that point. RSS has made its point very clear. They are with the government on the subject. Now,
how do you decide? Now, when you say the country is not ready, I mean, how do you decide that the country is not ready? I'm sorry.
I was elaborating on it. I said, allow me to elaborate.
Okay.
We live in a parliamentary democracy where will of the people is reflected through the elected representatives. And once they decide, once there is a sufficient pressure on them, that they are smart enough to bring the law. When there is no pressure, sufficient pressure on them, they are not going to bring any law. So as of now, that is why I say Parliament is not taking up this issue. That means the will of the people is not reflecting it. There is no sufficient awareness of this. Channels like India Today, Republic, NDTV, they all are awareness media. They are not decision makers about law. So as of now, the society does not accept it. Yes, four people, me and you, may have a converging view on the subject. But India is not just merely metropolitan cities or TV studios. It goes much beyond. So to say that some country has, because of Western values, they have made such a law, does not mean India with its own cultural civilization.
But these aren't just Western values. I mean, if you look back at so many stories from the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, Indian text, there's so much very common references to people belonging to the same sex. It's not just some Western value that's been brought to India.
Let me answer that, Rahul. I was about to make a distinction between decriminalization of the sex and the marriage. Decriminalization, the sex there happens within a room, private. You can't do it outside. It's obscene. Yes, it is done. We have accepted it, but Parliament is still open to tomorrow to take a call on that. That is Parliament's domain. Now, secondly, marriage is a social concept based on religion. Believe me, it has come out through religion, whether it is Christianity, Islam or Hindu. All three laws in their own religion do not allow this. However, today, whether our country is ready or not is an issue, and this is a policy decision. Yes, 377 decriminalization was also a policy decision, but that does not mean the government should also take marriage, which is a social concept, to be and be silent on
I'm going to get Sridhar Rangayan to respond. Just one thing, I'm going to come back to you, because your argument principally is that the best way to determine whether society is ready or not is through the will of the elected representatives, because otherwise everybody will have their own opinion, and the will of the elected representatives at this moment is represented by the BJP government, which is in power, which in its wisdom has decided that they don't want to do this. It should be done in Parliament. It cannot be done outside Parliament, because this is about the will of society, and the government represents the will of society.
Government does not represent the will of the society. Parliament represents.
Okay.
That's the distinction.
Let Sridhar Rangayan respond to you.
So I really think like the judiciary should be the highest level of lawmaking, and when the judiciary, when the matter is being talked about in the Supreme Court, I think the Parliament should be silent and let the Supreme Court take its decision and follow the decision. A lot of times the current political parties are ignoring all the rulings by the Supreme Court, and that's not a fair thing at all.